Hi, Reni. Hello. Very well. How you doing?
How are
How's
you?
your day going?
I'm doing well. The day's going well. My meetings in the morning got canceled, so I'm doing well.
Nice to have you here. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining the session. Hello, Mara. Thank you for joining the session. Share with your friends, share on your timeline so people can join. So let's start. Yeah. So my name is Ayo, and I share interview and career tips as well as Scrum Master tips. I'm a Scrum Master, and I've also worked as a project manager. If you're looking for interview and career tips, responses to behavioral questions, I have a lot on my page. So follow, and then I also do resume revamps. I do, yeah, clarity calls. So check the link in my bio. Thank you so much for joining this session. I really appreciate your time on a Friday. So I'm going to hand over to Reni and for her introduction. Yeah.
Okay. Hi, everybody. I am Reni. People call me Reni the Resource. I am a full-time content creator based in Toronto, Canada, and I make content all about financial literacy and career development, and also how to use the money that you make from learning about finance and turning it into your passions.
Yeah.
Money is for using. So I always like to enjoy my money, and I share a bit of travel content on my page as well. So
Yeah.
that's a little bit
Thank you.
about
Thanks
me.
for the introduction. So, first of all, I'm excited to have you here. I just see you on Instagram. I'm like, okay, let me try and see if we can have a live session together. But thank you for joining. I wanted to, first question would be, how did it all start? Like, what did you study? How did you find yourself in this space? Yes.
So I went to business school, and I went to the Schulich School of Business at York University here in Toronto. I studied business, and I did my BBA,
Oh,
so my Bachelor's of Business Administration. I actually specialized in marketing and operations management. So that's where my career started. I don't really well, I kind of work in marketing now, but that's where my career started. And I see someone from Schulich
okay.
in the comments
Do you
section.
think your degree definitely will have helped, but do you think it's really, really helping you now? Because to be honest, I know like many people have like huge followings, 100,000, 200,000, and I'm no judge, but I'll say like, I mean, you're everywhere, which is really good for you. Yeah. Do you think your degree in business has helped with that?
Yeah, I actually do think it helped. I don't think
Yeah.
it's not like I went to school to be a content creator and now I'm a content creator. But I will say that like at business school, you have to do presentations all the time. Like we had to be in group projects. Like I think the first year we probably had like 6, 7, 8 group projects, and we were just like in group projects all the time. So I feel like that really helped me develop my speaking skills, but also develop how to work with other people, which is really important when you are an entrepreneur. So I think those were the key things. I also specialized in marketing, so I took a lot of social media marketing courses, which I think really helped as well. So that like again, I didn't study how to be a content creator, but it definitely helped here. And also, it taught me a lot about networking. At
Okay.
my business school, they taught us all about networking and how to like network with people. And I honestly haven't had to apply for a job since 2015 because of that. So I would say that like that was one of the best things they ever did for me. Even if I didn't become a
All
content
right.
creator, it helped me in my corporate career
So
as
thanks
well.
everyone for people that just joined. If you have any questions, there's a question mark symbol at the bottom right. Just drop your questions there so that it's not lost in between, I mean, the conversation in the comments. So my next question is, so after school, what did you do next? Like your career, what was it like?
So throughout university, they really emphasized getting internships during our time in university. So I had my first internship in my first year, my second internship in my second year, I was a business analyst at the Bank of Montreal. My third year came back, business analyst at the Bank of Montreal. Fourth year, I was graduating and I was like, okay, I need another job. So I went back to the Bank of Montreal and was hired as a new graduate business analyst. So that's what I did. And the role was really different than like what I was doing as an intern. I feel like as
Yeah.
interns, they try to make things exciting for you, like,
That's
and it's also only 4 months, so it's not too bad. But after I got into this role, it was more administrative than analysis. And Also, I was just like, I can't do this for the rest of my life. It was like about 3 months in, I was like, yeah, I cannot do this for the rest of my life. So then I decided, okay, I want to do something that's really creative. And my goal was to get into marketing because I had studied marketing before. And yeah, that's how I was able to, that's what I did
Okay.
after
So I think
university.
when I say like building a career in finance, because to be honest, many people, moving from other countries or relocating to Canada, I'm just going to use Nigeria as an example because we're both Nigerians. And, most of them worked in banks and then they come here and, the banking system is quite different from what it was in Nigeria. How can people transition into like building something in um in the financial industry?
So I worked at a bank, right? But like I would tell everyone that you don't have to have the same career you had at a bank here. So for example, I have worked in wealth management within the bank, but I've also worked in the tech department within a bank, and I've been a marketing manager in that bank, but I've also been a business analyst in the bank. So I think if you come here saying, okay, I was a customer service agent at the bank in Nigeria. When I come here, I also have to be a customer service agent in Canada. It could work, but I would tell you to be really open-minded when you come here and know that the banks there's so many different options of roles that you can get. For example, like I know that there are like hundreds and thousands of jobs actually. I went in my old company, I believe there are 45,000 people who worked in the company, right? So there are so many different types of roles, so many different departments. So there are lots of transferable skills, as Aoife said, and just use the transferable skills that you have from back home to find a job that may not be the same as what you had back home.
So
But
what like how was your career path like? What common mistakes do you see people, do you see people do, especially like new immigrants when they come here? Like I can share some, like some people, for example, when interviewing, just trying to create those stories that are more relatable, because like in the Nigerian environment and in the Canadian environment, these are two different cultures. So trying to talk about, like when they ask you behavioral questions, your questions are really streamlined to the Nigerian situation, and a recruiter here might not really follow. So what challenges do you see people, people facing? It might even be on LinkedIn, how they're selling themselves and things like that. What challenges do you see that many people usually face?
mm-hmm. One thing I see on LinkedIn is a lot of people from Nigeria, I think they've heard like, oh, you have to network when you come to Canada. You have to network when they come to Canada. So they'll message me trying to network, but like the message is so bad. Like it's just like, hello, ma. And I'm like, first of all,
yeah,
you don't need to do that here. You don't need to call me ma. You don't need to call anyone ma here. And they'll be like, hello, ma. I'm looking for a job in a bank. Can you help me? And I'm like, do I know you? So I would say that there's like a certain way that you approach coffee chats. There's a certain way that you approach networking, and it's not like you approach it only trying to get something out of the person. It's more so that you're trying to build a relationship with them. And then if something comes from it, of course, that would be great. But if something does not come from that, then it's okay, like I think a lot of people are very transactional when they're trying to get jobs here. It seems extremely transactional, and I see in the comments people are saying the math thing is so crazy.
Even like when people are sending me DMs, sometimes I'm like asking my friend, like, do I now look like a ma, or why is everyone
I'm like, and sometimes they look older than me, so I'm just like, why are you calling me ma?
Yeah,
I know it's like a respect thing, but I think that respecting in Nigeria, respect is very different in Canada. Like all you have to do is say hi, and you're seen as respectful. You don't need to you don't need to say good evening, ma, or something like that. It's too much. So I think that's the biggest mistake that I see people making. That it's just very transactional, and just the way they approach people is no bueno.
So like when you were still working, what kind of challenges did you come across? Like when we see you on Instagram, we just see you, we are with Trudeau one day, yeah, with one other, which is great. Like what are like common challenges you face even as a content creator and even while you were working in BMO? Yeah.
Challenges in my career? Honestly, I had a my career was pretty good. It was pretty smooth. I would just say it's hard to get a job if you want to pivot into a new industry. I think initially I didn't know how to use my transferable skills, as I mentioned earlier. So I was just trying to apply for different marketing jobs, and like I didn't have any. There was like they're like,
Okay.
you're a business analyst. Why should we hire you to work in our marketing firm, right? So it was only when I understood the value of networking and I understood the value of actually positioning my transferable skills in a way that they can see that it will add value to them that I actually was able to get a job. So that was my biggest challenge, like just not being able to position myself correctly for the job that I wanted to get. But once I was able to, figure that out, then I networked my way
Yeah, but
into
how do you really
marketing
figure
roles.
that out in terms, to be honest, some people are caught in this and what you just explained and they're there for years, like they don't know what's going wrong, they're just not getting the job. How do you try
Mhm.
to how did you what's the right way of networking to get what you want? Yeah, eventually. Yeah.
Okay, so I would say the first thing is you need to be going to the right places or networking with the right people. Like if you're networking with me to get a job at the bank, I don't work there anymore. like I have a few connections there still, obviously,
Okay.
but like I should not be the person that you're going to get a job, right? So I think it would be the first thing, the right place. Okay, so make sure that if you are trying to get into the tech industry, you, for example, are going to tech events. If you're, or even more specific, if you're trying to get like, I don't know if there's Scrum Master events or stuff like that, right? Like go to very niche and very specific events so that you can meet other people within your industry or your desired industry. So that would be the first thing. And same thing when you're messaging people. I think you're messaging the wrong person oftentimes. Like you're messaging the CEO of the company when they really don't
Mm-hmm.
have anything to do with the hiring decisions. Instead, you could reach out to somebody who's maybe a senior manager or a manager or even someone who is on your level that you would like to get into, just to get to know a little bit more about the company, get to know about the role, and then they can recommend you for a role. So when I was working in marketing, a lot of people would message me saying they want to get into marketing, and they would have discussions with me. And then oftentimes, if they made a good impression, then once a role came up on my team, I would be like, hey girl, like I know you messaged me 3 months ago. There's a role available on my team. Do you want it? And like I really pride myself on, in the few
Oh
years I
wow.
was there, getting like 5 different people jobs in my in my company, Black people as well. I was proud of myself for doing that. But it's all about the connections that you make and not going
Goodness.
into it for transactional reasons. Because if that person reached out 3 months ago and
Good.
then they were like, oh, Reni didn't help me
Right.
this first month,
Yeah.
I'm never gonna talk to her again, then they would be blocking their own
True, true.
blessing,
Yeah.
blocking their own bag.
So
Yeah.
what do you think about the place of resilience? And I mean, probably in your content creator space, and even while searching for a job, because yes, I know even on LinkedIn, you might reach out to like 10 or 15 people. One person might respond, or nobody at all. So I think sometimes I feel like we don't really emphasize resilience and just being patient, because what people do is that they just jump from one boot camp to another. If they've applied for 1 month and they haven't gotten any job, they will enroll for another boot camp, and that process just continues, goes on and on and on. Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah, honestly, applying for
True. That
jobs,
I
it's really a
believe so.
numbers
Yeah.
game. Like, yeah, you have to keep applying and keep applying. But I will say, like, a hack to this is to meet people in person because, again, a recruiter
Mm-hmm.
is getting 500 applications for their job. But if their friend, I'm like, hey, I know this person who's good for this job, they're going to put you to the top of the list, right? So I think that there's a lot of value in meeting people in person and meeting people and just having coffee chats with them virtually because you become top of mind for them. Recruiters don't actually want to look
Exactly.
through 500 applications to find one candidate. They really don't. They would rather have a direct referral or somebody who they met in person. They're like, yeah, I can vouch for this person. So if you can be that person who's top of mind for them, that is great. And also, if you're just posting online, I find that like you become top of mind for people as well. So if you're posting on your LinkedIn page, for example, and it can be like, oh, I just got this certification as a Scrum Master, or I just learned about this thing related to Scrum. Then when a Scrum Master opportunity comes up, people in your network are like, oh, Reni has been, excuse me, Reni has been posting about being a Scrum Master. Maybe I should recommend her, or just tell her about this role that's available, right? So it's all about being top of mind, figuring out your personal brand and being top of mind for people. For example, every single opportunity that has come to me over the past 3 years is because one of my friends or a follower who I don't even know has recommended me. It's like, oh, Reni talked about finance. There's a finance opportunity. Let's refer Reni for that. So I think people undervalue the concept of being top of mind for other people.
Yeah. So I think first question was, what facet of technology did you work in while in the finance industry?
So I was a business analyst on a team called Smart Core within the Bank of Montreal.
Then the next one is what is for you the key financial topic newcomers must learn?
So I actually have a video on this if you want to check it out. It's on my YouTube channel. My channel is XO Reni, that's XORENI. And I just recorded a video and it's like maybe a month old, so check that out. But for newcomers, I think the key things that you should look into are really budgeting, because I think that the cost of living here is extremely high compared to Nigeria. Well, Nigeria's cost of living, I don't think it's low, but it's not low, but at least maybe your salary matches easily. You know, you can live comfortably, but here the salaries often don't match the cost of rents, the cost of this, the cost of that. So I would say that budgeting is really important. Just understanding what's coming into your account each month, and then what's coming out of it. I would also say that once you have that down pat, then maybe you want to look into building your credit here, because credit is something that is super important in Canada. Like, even if you're applying for jobs, sometimes they're going to run a credit score on you and just to make sure that you have a decent credit score. So credit, our system really runs on credit. If you want to get a house and you need a mortgage, if you want to buy a car, even if you want to rent most places, you need to work on your credit score. So that would be the second thing that I would work on. You want to open a credit card, but also use that credit card responsibly. That's the important part. Not just opening a credit card and then going into debt. No, that's not the goal. More so that you want to open that credit card, use it responsibly, build up your credit score so that when you do want to get a loan for something, it's no big deal, and you're getting a low interest rate on that loan. So a lot of Nigerians I find come here and they're like, exactly, you know, we never use debt in Nigeria. I'm not using debt here. And okay, if you want to do that,
yeah, you will see. I remember telling my sister-in-law a few weeks back, like she has to start using a credit card, and she had that same response of, well, I survived in Nigeria without any of these debts. Maybe I should just, I'm like, no, it doesn't work that way. You need to.
No, it does not work like that at all. And yeah, some people do live that way, but you have to be very rich to have enough cash to, unless you never want to buy a house, maybe, and you never want to get a car that you have to get a loan for, and like your utility, like everything becomes more expensive when you don't have good credit. So tell everybody, please just work on it. You don't have to be excessive. Please don't be excessive with it. Use it responsibly, of course.
Questions that, I mean, they're like from finance, from LinkedIn. So just bear with us on that. The next question is, what are your thoughts on graduate goals? It seems so competitive, and I keep getting kicked out at the last stages of like 4-step and 6-step recruitment process.
Okay, so for those who don't know, graduate roles, I'm guessing it's like specific roles for new grads rather than, or sometimes it's like a rotational program for new grads. That's a lot that I applied to when I was in university. I'll say that they are hard to get. They're extremely hard to get because there's only typically 1, 2, maybe 4 of them for the whole company. I think they're good, but there are other roles. You don't need to have a graduate role. Regardless, you are a new graduate who has a role, right? It doesn't really matter if it's called a new grad role. So that's my take on it. I do think that the rotational programs are very good because the rotational programs allow you to, you know, you'll work here for 4 months, you'll work in this department for 4 months, you work in this department for 4 months, then it gets you to just really know about the organization. But again, if you can't get into it, it's not the end of the world. There are lots of jobs available, so look into different jobs. And yeah, I didn't get a new grad role. Mine was like I got it when I graduated, but it was just a normal role.
Good, thank you. My question was, how do you gather work experience, like when you haven't worked in a professional environment in Canada? Do you know any ways people could do that?
Yeah, so some ways that you can do that is you can volunteer. So you can, I know, like if you're in university, well, I guess this depends. Are they in university?
Not university,
yeah,
out of university. Imagine I just moved from Nigeria. They keep on asking me for Canadian experience, and I'm just trying to get a job here.
Yeah, okay. So there are newcomer programs actually that can help you specifically. And again, I think it's a lot about taking your transferable skills, right? And marketing them in a way that appeals to the Canadian market. But honestly, I've never lived in Nigeria, so I do not have the lived experience of, you know, transferring my skills from Nigeria to here. I know it's difficult, so I really can't speak to it. Maybe you can speak to it.
I think the question is get towards if they're like I know they're internships, but the internships usually comes when you're in school, right? You have to be in university to be in school. Yeah. And even for when they say volunteered positions, I don't know. I know it's not very easy in Nigeria to get those kind of roles, but I don't know, I mean, about it here. Like, is this something you have heard for, like, where they're volunteered? Because most times in Nigeria, they're either, you know, taking you to pay you or, you know, not taking you at all. Yeah.
Yeah, there are lots of volunteer positions available, and charities and nonprofits are always looking for people to volunteer. So I think that, like, there are lots of options. Like, for example, the Salvation Army would be a good place to look, and you can even just go to a nonprofit. And for example, say you want to get you want to work in social media marketing, and you're trying to get a job here because you don't have any Canadian experience. You can go to a nonprofit organization based in Canada and say, hey, I realize that you don't have, don't say it in a mean way, obviously, but I realize that you could do better at a social media marketing, whatever. So here, I would love to volunteer my time for the next 3 months to help revamp your social media presence. You know, that would be a good example of getting a practical work experience. Another thing that someone mentioned is accelerators from boot camps, but again, that's expensive. It does cost money. So I was trying to give like a non-expensive option. Obviously, with the volunteer option, your time is still spent, which is, you know, money. Time is money here, especially. But if you do have the money, yeah, you can go to an accelerator program. They will typically put you into a project, and then in that project, you will, you know, get that practical work experience that you can add to your portfolio after that.
Good. I think so. This is, can Reni give practical ways she balanced content creation and her side hustles with her job, especially a demanding one?
Balanced past tense, because now content is my full-time job. But how I did it before. So when I was working at the bank, so what I would do is I would batch content create. And I do this till this day because I just don't have energy to be creating every single day. But yeah, so what I would do is I would, on a Saturday afternoon or Saturday morning, I would record 4 different videos. And then over the next 4 weeks, and then the next day I would edit those 4 videos, and then I would schedule them out to go on YouTube once a week for the next 4 weeks. So it was more so like one weekend of my month would be totally gone. Like, I'm not able to spend any time, you know, doing anything else. And then I would just schedule it out over the next 4 weeks. Also, planning. Like when you actually plan things out, it really helps you to stay on top and make sure that you're organized. If it's not on my calendar, unfortunately, it does not exist to me. So honestly, that's how I was able to balance the two. And also just setting boundaries with my corporate job, like saying at 5 p.m. I'm gone on, like, you know,
Yeah.
it's 9 to 5, not 9 to 7, not 9 to 6. Yeah, so that really helped me, especially at the beginning of my content creation when I was just starting up. Batch creating a plan, and then setting strict boundaries with my work.
Thank you. Someone asked, give us examples of accelerated programs. Those are like boot camps, right?
Yeah. So there's Skill Hat, SKILLHAT, Skill Hat. So I have a video with them on my YouTube channel that you can check out this. I also know Global Stride, GLOBALSTRIDE. So Global Stride, they have something similar. There's also JJOM. Let me type that in the chat. There's JJOM, Global Stride. Yeah, those are some that I know of. And yeah, they can have like a 6-week accelerated program, a 12-week, a 3-week. It really depends. But those are the ones that I know.
All right. And another question would be advice for like trying to balance something like the last question, and advice for people trying to like follow that content creation path. I saw one video you posted about someone quitting a job. I'm sure she was just joking, and then wanting to earn $43,000 dollars like you did during your during the last month or so. People are waiting for your May. In case you don't know, people are waiting for your May your May review just to see, but it's quite inspiring to see how much can be made out there. What do you think has, helped you to be able to do that? Because like I said at the beginning of this, I know there's the place of grace, but many people have more followers, many people have more followers and are not doing the same thing. So you're definitely doing something different. What do you think has helped you with that?
I think the girl who did the videos in the chat. Yeah. Okay, first of all, the money, your consecration money is up and down, right? So if you guys are expecting like 100,000 next month, unfortunately that's not the case. But the question was, what has been a key to my success? So I think the first thing would be being consistent. So if you've been on my page for any length of time, I post like 5 days a week. So every week, pretty much for the past like few years, I posted 5 days a week.
Post 5 days a week? Yeah, okay.
On my Instagram, yeah. So I posted 5 days a week for very consistently, and my content is valuable, if I do say so myself. So if I could, like, I post obviously pictures of myself looking cute every once in a while, but the main thing that I'm posting is valuable content that everybody can actually like understand. And I think what differentiates me from a lot of other people is I explain things very simply, so anybody can understand them. So that would be the second thing, like adding value always. And even when I like, she didn't quit her job. Good.
I know. I knew it was a joke. Yeah. Even our profile says tech.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay. I didn't really check, but good. I'm glad. No one should quit their job, please. But yeah, I add value. I think I share pretty valuable content on a daily basis. I also would say that I make my content very shareable. So you'll notice like in the first like 5 seconds of all my content, it's like a hook, right? It's gonna get you to watch it. So for example, if it was this video and I was promoting it, I would be like, here are 5 ways you can build your career in Canada, and then I would go into it after that, just so that if you only listen to the first 5 seconds, it actually makes you want to stop on that video, unmute it, and then watch the whole thing. So those are a few things. And then I think I really built my community, right? So I've made, if you look at my comment section, they're always popping because I respond to every single comment when someone comments. I respond to like 95% of my DMs that I get. Ooh. Yeah, I spend like 95% of DMs that I get. I am always helping people. Like I do an Ask Me Anything session every Thursday on my story. So I feel like people
Yeah.
feel like a connection towards me. And the last thing I'll say is I am very honest. Like if I like people feel like they can trust me because I'll tell you something is good, I'll tell you something is horrible. Like, you know, I'm very, very, very honest about with my opinion. So you know that if I recommend something, it's good. If I say something is trash, it's probably trash. So that's really helped me. And also my personal branding, like I've been very deliberate. Oh my goodness, can't speak today. I've been very deliberate about my personal branding and like wanting to be known as this finance girl, now finance and travel girl. Like it's evident. I post other things, but the personal finance and the travel is what I really want to be known for. And I've made that known by posting on every single platform the same way. So on my Instagram, on my Twitter, on my TikTok, on my even LinkedIn, I have been very deliberate about it, and that has helped me to just attract opportunities. Again, 99.999% of the opportunities I get are people reaching out to me rather than me having to reach out to them, just because like they've heard of me or someone has recommended me, and then they come because, you know, they checked my profile out because of that person, and yeah, they see something that they like.
I don't know if it was you. I know you reposted it, but I don't know if you were the one that typed that, or maybe you just reposted someone that, you know, had written that something about, you know, trying to look for those opportunities yourself. I don't know how you put it. I can't remember. But in terms of, I think at some point, maybe you were reaching out to people, and then obviously now it has just turned the other way, and, you know, everybody's reaching out to you. You know, sometimes people feel like, oh, let me wait. Those brands will, you know, come to me. What do you think about that? And, you know, I personally believe like people have different grace. Like maybe your grace is not that people will reach out to you at this point in time, or maybe your grace is not that you would, you know, be able to quickly get a job. Maybe it might be in something else. So my point is, how do you what's your advice if you're in that kind of space? Like, oh, I'm trying to, and I want to go big, yeah. Do I have to reach out to these brands, or just wait till they reach out to you so that you have that, you know, bargaining power?
Okay, I've reached out to a few brands, but
Yeah, true,
again, everyone has
yeah.
different grace, right? Yeah. Someone has told me that I have a magnetic personality. That's how they described me. So it's like things just come to me. Even when I was in my career, I changed jobs every single year. And again, it was for my networking, it was for my LinkedIn profile. It was just like, you know, grace of opportunities coming towards me. So I will say that if you are someone who is a new creator, you need to shoot your shot at all times. Like if there are opportunities that you see and you want to work with a brand, always pitch yourself. Always shoot your shot. I'm a big believer in shooting your shot every single time. Like even yesterday, I just shot my shot at somebody. Hopefully it comes, you know, full circle. But it won't always. Sometimes you get rejection. Sometimes you get ghosted. And you just keep pushing, because it would be worse if you were just waiting and if you never had shot that shot, and now you don't know if you will get an answer or not. But now, because you've actually taken deliberate action and shot your shot, now you know if it's a
this
yes
leads to
or
my
if it's
other
a no,
question.
right?
How
So,
do you manage those rejections? Because to be fair, many people aspire for good things, they aspire for big things, but then when you think, oh, maybe this person won't answer, or maybe it will seem like, you know, sometimes I think it was, I don't, what's the name of that popular podcast in Nigeria? I think it's, yeah, I said all that, and
I
you
said
know,
what I
said
said.
something publicly out there. Many people won't try it because they're like, oh, what if these people don't even respond to me, or they don't even look at me, or how do you manage that? Yeah.
Yeah. That's funny. I honestly, I didn't even like. It wasn't even a. I. They said that they wanted someone to come on their podcast and talk about money, and I was like, well, I talk about money. I'm gonna be in Nigeria this year, and I was like, let me just shoot my shot. You know, they may say no, they may say yes. And what people don't know is that the first time I reached out was in June. The second time was in July.
Wow.
Third time was in August. Oh yes, oh yes. And then when I actually got there in September, I was like, hey guys, I'm here now. And then they finally responded. So I think that's a lesson in like being persistent, being resilient. Just because you don't hear yes once doesn't mean that you actually won't hear yes eventually.
Now switching to someone asked about the session will be recorded. Yes, it will be recorded. I'll put it on my YouTube page. Speaking about LinkedIn, I know you have like a whole video on LinkedIn tips just to stand out. But if you were just going to briefly describe like how to, you hear of people or recruiters are, I mean, the recruiters are on my case, literally sending messages almost every day. If we're just going to share 5 or a few, 3 tips or something that, just a summary of how to stand out on LinkedIn. Yeah.
Funny enough, I'm doing a workshop on this tomorrow, and I actually was just doing my slides, so I have lots of tips. Okay, so the first thing that I would say is you need to understand how LinkedIn works. LinkedIn is a search engine, meaning that there's this tool called LinkedIn Recruiter that recruiters use, and then they search like, I want somebody who is based in this place. I want somebody who has these 5 skills. I want someone who has this title. Like that's what they are searching for in LinkedIn Recruiter. Your profile has to be optimized to match these job descriptions or whatever they are looking for, so that your profile will pop up above all other people. Like, your profile may say that you're a Scrum Master, but does it only say it once? Does it have all the skills that Scrum Masters have on their page as well? Does it have a headline? Like, these are all the things that I would be asking if I looked at your page. So the more of that you have, the more likely you are to rank more highly in the LinkedIn, LinkedIn Recruiter. So the first thing, please have a headline or a tagline on your page, right? It doesn't even need to be anything deep. It just needs to tell us what you do. So when I was working in marketing, I think it was strategic marketing manager. That was my headline. I never tied my title to my job. Like, I didn't say strategic marketing manager at BMO Private Wealth, but you can, it doesn't matter. Like, either way, you can link it to your company. You cannot link it to your company, whatever. But just make sure you have your title clearly laid out. And maybe, like, my title was marketing manager at one of my roles, but I still made sure to put strategic marketing manager because I was looking for more strategy marketing roles, not just like the execution part, but also strategy. So first thing, optimize your LinkedIn title, headline, or whatever it's called. And I would say, if you're struggling to think of what the ideal headline would be, maybe look at like 5 job postings that you would apply to, and then see what is the title that they're commonly using in those job postings. The second thing, your about section. Your about section should tell us who you are, what you do, what opportunities you're looking for, and lastly, how somebody can reach you if they wanted to reach out to you. That's what a lot of people are lacking, and I don't know why. Like, so I would say your about section is important. Make sure that you have all of those details there. And also, there's this feature in the back of LinkedIn that is like, you can make your DMs open for messages or closed for messages. Your DM should always be open for messages, in my opinion. Someone shouldn't have to connect with you to then DM you. So please, if that is your setting right now, please just fix that, okay? Because it doesn't make sense, because of course most recruiters have the access to just message you regardless, which is good. But sometimes, what if a hiring manager wants to message you, or what if someone who has just seen your profile wants to message you and they don't have access to just bypass that? Now you are messing up your own bag. So please just leave your DMs open. Another thing would be, in the back end, you can tell us if you're open to work or closed to work. And a lot of people don't like to put the open to work because they think it has that banner, across, but it doesn't have to. It can be in the background. So when I was working, I wasn't even looking for jobs, but I always had my open to work on, because I was like, who knows? Google could want to hire me. I'm a go if they hire me. So I would tell you to always have your open to work on. You can also specify whether it is a hybrid role, if it's a remote role that you're looking for. You can get really granular in what you're looking for. So I would tell you to put that on. I would also say, for your location of your place, you don't need to put like, I'm based in Brampton, Ontario, Canada. You can put the Greater Toronto Area, right? So that you are opening yourself up to more opportunities. You can even put Ontario. I think mine says Canada. Like, I would think, especially if you're looking for remote roles, just put Ontario or the Greater Toronto Area. It does not need to be something that is specific to the location that you're in. So those are a few tips. I have more. Actually, one more, actually. Optimize
Okay.
optimize your skills section. So the skills section, you can have up to 50 different skills listed. Try to put as many skills as possible, all 50 if possible. I always had 50 on my page, and those 50 can, if you are struggling to think of skills that are relevant, look at all the job postings that you have applied to. Pick 5 of them. Look at the skills that are there, and then add those to your profile, right? Like just add the skills that you've learned, and I mean that you've seen on that job posting, and then add them to your profile. You can also, if it's easier, copy and paste the job posting into ChatGPT. Say ChatGPT, please tell me the 50 skills that somebody in this position would need. ChatGPT will give you a list of them. You can copy and paste that list and put it in your what's it called?
Skill section.
Put it in your LinkedIn profile. Yeah. And then to go on top of that for your LinkedIn profile, once you have filled out the skills section, some of them will ask you to do skills tests in order to prove that you're actually good at what you do. So it's like, it's one thing for me to say I'm good at the skill, but now if I actually have this badge beside it that says I'm like verified that I'm actually good, it bumps your ranking up a little in the LinkedIn recruiter. So that was a lot, but I have a whole video on this. Everyone can go watch it. Just type in XO Reni LinkedIn, and then it will be like the first one that pops up on your YouTube.
So someone asked, thank you for all of that. I think I wrote some of them down. And then the one you talked about, verifying your skills. I think that's the part many people don't do, to be honest. I don't do it myself. Yeah, so but I see why you say, I mean, when you say it would, give you a little bump up in the LinkedIn recruiter. So someone asked an interesting question. Can you please talk about working 2 jobs on the low, work from home? You regard taxes or LinkedIn visibility. Do I have to delete my profile?
Okay, I think Faith before had asked if my LinkedIn workshop tomorrow is open to the public. It's not open to the public, unfortunately. Typically, like, businesses hire me and then they want me to speak to their employees or people. So unfortunately, it's not open to the public, but the LinkedIn video will basically explain everything that I'm going to teach them. So check that out. You can just search XO Reni LinkedIn on YouTube and then you'll find it. What was the question? How to talk about working from home in regards to taxes? This one's a little tricky because, like, some jobs don't care if you work 2 jobs, right? It's not a problem. So on LinkedIn, I probably wouldn't put both jobs on my LinkedIn profile. I'd probably put the most recent one, and I just wouldn't update my profile anymore. So it would seem like, oh, I forgot to say that I'm no longer working here. But some jobs, I guess it would depend. I've heard some horror stories about working 2 jobs and how, like, somebody found out because someone posted something on LinkedIn and then suddenly they were fired from both jobs. So I would say you just need to be really careful. When it comes to taxes, what's going to happen is you are going to be overpaying taxes.
It depends on if it's an incorporation, right? If the second one is like a contract job that's incorporated, then you follow like the business taxes. But I'll let you speak. Yeah, the tax. Yeah.
That's true. Okay, I'm assuming like 2 full-time like salary. You're not a contractor. Then that means like both companies are going to be. You're going to be paying into EI, into your that's employment insurance, unemployment insurance. You're going to be paying into CPP, which is Canada Pension Plan. You're going to be like double paying into them, and then at the end of the year, you'll get like a refund. But I don't know how it works because
what I think is when it's combined, then it pushes you to a higher tax bracket. So now you're paying a lot of taxes. But go ahead.
You make but taxes are still progressive. So it's like a lot of people think taxes are not progressive, but like what happens is if I make $50,000 and now I'm making say the bracket ends at $50,000 and now I'm making $60,000 because of my second job, only the extra $10,000 is being taxed in addition, right? So it's at the higher rate. So it's not that it's not that all of your money is being taxed at the rate that $60,000 is. It's just the extra $10,000. But yeah, you could have a higher tax bill because like they're both taxing you at assuming that you're only making their salary. They're not taxing you as if you're making the higher rate. But honestly, I would reach out to an accountant for this, and
yeah, and even on LinkedIn, I mean, if you're taking that decision to work 2 jobs, just ignore like don't like anything, don't post it.
Yeah. Just stay away from LinkedIn. Keep your profile. Don't update it.
I agree
don't update
to that. If you have any questions, because we're wrapping up soon, can put it in the question box at the bottom right corner. And I wanted to ask about, I mean, any training packages or any any services that you offer that, you know, someone has just asked you for your LinkedIn name.
Yeah, I will write it in the chat. Okay, can you see it? Reni Auditorium. Yeah, you can see it. Okay. So I just stopped offering my LinkedIn revamp service. I used to help people revamp their LinkedIn, but honestly, it's pretty time consuming. And I already made this like very detailed 25-minute video. So if you just sit there, take your time and watch it, you'll definitely learn a thing or two from there. So I do not offer that service anymore, but I do offer an Ask Me Anything session where you can ask me any question that you want about any topic that you want. The link, I got fully booked for May already, so you cannot book for May, but if you would like to book for June, you can use the link in my bio, and it is a 1-hour session. I'm completely yours. You can ask me any question that you want for that 1 hour, and then I send you a detailed follow-up afterwards, just to recap everything. But yeah, I no longer do revamps. Oh, Sonia, thank you, Sonia. She just reminded me. I also do speaking engagements. So I have speaking engagements. As I said, tomorrow I'm doing a LinkedIn workshop for a brand. So if you work in an organization and you would like to hire me to speak about, I speak about financial literacy, I speak about my career journey, and I also do some salary negotiation and LinkedIn revamp talks. You can hire me for any of those. You can also go on my website, renitheresource.com, where I have all of those listed as well. If it's
so I wanted to ask, like, do you think personally you'll be able to do what you do now and work together, like if you were still working?
So okay,
like
so I was doing
scale,
it, you know, but for
level.
a year and a half. Honestly, I was posting pretty frequently when I was working. And I feel like I was even more organized back then because like I had to, but it was when my job was like not as demanding, right? So I had already been in the role for a year. I had mastered it. It was cool. But then I got a promotion and then I could not balance the two. It was a mess. Yeah. So I would say I was able to. The only thing is, this is like okay, wait. Also, if you connect with me on LinkedIn, please send me a message. I have like 1,500 requests. I don't look at them anymore. So please say that you came from this live, and then I will definitely accept you. But what was I saying before? I was saying that my work was like it was kind of a conflict of interest with my company. So that's why I chose to, like, no one told me to leave, but I was like, I'm getting deal offers from like RBC, from EQ Bank, and then I work at BMO. That's kind of, you know. So that's why I decided, I was like, if I actually want to go like full force with this, I kind of have to leave. But I do think I could work another 9 to 5 at this point and still like be pretty successful, right? I like right before I left, my choice was like, should I take this offer? I had my like first 6-figure offer. I'm like, should I take this offer or should I pursue my YouTube full time? I decided to pursue YouTube, but like if I ever go back, it has to be big money first of all, and it has to be something that would allow me to still do my YouTube channel on the side. Like it would have to be something that it's not a conflict of interest, obviously, and they love my YouTube channel. They're okay with me having.
I wanted to ask how was it for you, like meeting Trudeau, and what in becoming like a YouTube content? I think it's I've forgotten what they call it. Something 20. It's a yearly thing they do for YouTube creators. Yes. So is it YouTube like they pick the top performing Black creators, or how's the process like? Apart from that, how was it meeting Trudeau? I think that was my first question. Yeah.
Okay. First question. It was cool. Like, it was a good experience. I was actually on vacation when I got the message. I was in Antigua, and then I got the message. So then I decided to come back a little bit earlier, and I went to Ottawa. And basically, for those who may not know, it was the reading of the federal budget for 2023. And the federal budget is basically how the government is going to use our tax dollars for the year and what they're assigning it to. So they said, oh, we're going to choose a bunch of finance content creators. I think there were 7 or 8 of us. I can't remember. And they chose 8 of us, and then they told us to come to Ottawa. They didn't pay. People think we were paid for it. People think like this. No payments, okay? There was no payment there. And yeah, I was invited there. It was a really big honor to be chosen out of like every in Canada. It was a really big honor. And yeah, exactly. Right? And that picture with Trudeau was payment, right? I got to, and they told us that we were going to meet the Minister of Finance there, so Chrystia Freeland, and that was pretty cool. She's the Deputy Prime Minister of Canada. And then they were saying like, oh, you guys are going to meet Justin Trudeau. I'm like, okay, cool. And then they're like, oh, you can only have a picture with him, like no talking, like just stand beside him, take a picture, and leave. We're like, sure, whatever. We're just happy to be here. And then they're like, actually, and then when we got in, I think his staff was expecting it to just be that, but then he was like, oh, sit down, talk to us. Yeah, so we had like a 15-minute chat with him, which was pretty cool. So yeah, I thought it was a really good experience, and it was just cool that I could learn about the budget from a view that a lot of people may not ever get the chance to, and I got to share it with everybody on my stories, and I made a lot of content about it when I got home. So I've just been sharing what I learned from the budget, and I personally had never read the budget in my life before that. So yeah, a lot of people let me know that, oh, now like I'm actually going to read the budget going forward. So that was cool. And then the second question you asked was YouTube Black. So YouTube Black is a accelerator program for content creators across the world. They chose 138 YouTubers across the world, and I was one of them. Yeah. Felt like very honored to be one of the 138 creators, and I was the smallest creator in the class as well. At the time that I got in, I had like 7,000 subscribers, which was last year, 2022, or it was in 2021 that I got in, but it started in 2022. And then by January, I had like 10,000 subscribers. So I was still the smallest in the class. Yeah, and it was a cool opportunity. They flew us to Atlanta to have like an award ceremony. I won an award there for like the creator of the year. Yeah, it was just a really cool opportunity, and even till this day it just keeps paying dividends. Like, I got my first press feature from it. I was able to just network with a lot of creators that I probably wouldn't have had the access to network. They also gave us a large grant as well, so we got money that we could use towards our channel. Like, there were a lot of great perks that we got with it. So I'm glad that I got in. I applied. I didn't give any effort to the application because I didn't think I would get in, and I'm very glad that I was able to get in.
Thank you very much. I think we've covered all the questions. I really appreciate your time. We've learned a couple of things. Any other questions from anyone before we close this?
Yeah, and let me know. Let me know if you enjoyed this in the comment section. I'm thinking of doing lives on my page. So if you like this, let me know below, and I can do more lives.
Thank you so much. Thanks for your time, and have a good weekend. Thanks, everyone. Thanks for joining. Yeah. Have a good one. Thank you. Bye.
For having me. Bye.